So good afternoon, everyone. We are so happy to see everybody here. I know Mr. Baker is going to say this, but it is indeed a great day in Prince George's County. And for those of us who have been working to celebrate the nonprofit organizations that are working in our Transforming Neighborhood Initiative areas, namely our Dream Team, this is an especially wonderful day. Before I introduce the Dream Team, I'd like to say thank you so much to our visionary County Executive, Rashawn L. Baker III, for creating the Transforming Neighborhoods Initiative. And I also would like to recognize Dr. Kevin Maxwell, the Chief Executive Officer of the Prince George's County School System, who is our partner in TNI and our funder of TNI. So TNI at school. So part of what we've done for TNI, the Transforming Neighborhoods Initiative, part of the main reason for the Transforming Neighborhoods Initiative was to assist our families and our students to basically just have better lives. And in order to do that, we knew we needed to work in close concert with Prince George's County Public Schools. So we created TNI at school. And we did, the group that did that is the Dream Team. And I would like to have the Dream Team please stand. There's certain members who are missing, but the ones who are here, our Health Officer Pamela Creekmer, our Director of Social Services, Gloria Brown, our Director of the Library System, Kathleen Tees, our Chief Executive Officer of the Library System. At the time, Teresa Grant was our Acting Director of our Department of Family Services, and we thank you, Teresa. And now, our current Director of Family Services, Elena Balan Butler, is also a member of the Dream Team. Our project manager is Whitney Palin, doing a great job. And part of the Dream Team is Stephen Leggett-Creel, who is our deputy at the Department of Social Services, and Kay Brown, I'm just going to go for Kay Brown, Bodges Brown, who has worked with us on data and everything else. So I just want to thank you so much. Christian, don't sit down, please. I don't know if those of you who know Christian, he did work for us. He actually did work for us before he went over across the pond. And I must say that and please, nonprofits, organizations, forgive us. This is a day that we're celebrating something that we worked really hard. Because as you may remember that Mr. Baker, at great risk, changed the governance of the Prince George's County Public Schools. One of the reasons he did that was so that the school system and the county government could work closer together to provide wraparound services for our students, because the school system is devoted to academic achievement. County government had resources to change things with families, and so we came together, and so we're doing it. But I gotta say that Christian, before he defected, did just a marvelous job in working with us to create some of the interventions, and he and Dr. Monica Golson together joined hands and broke down the barriers that were preventing us from giving out these grants. And so I wanted everybody here to know that this didn't just happen. It took quite a bit. So I want to give you a hand, Dr. Rhodes. Thank you very much. And Dr. Golson. So I told her I was going to say that. She couldn't be here with us today. But I will say that Dr. Maxwell you have you and your leadership, you've just had a marvelous influence on what's going on here in Prince George's County for our students and their families. And we just thank you so much. So now to the nonprofit organizations that we're here really to celebrate. You all were working in TNI areas before Mr. Baker created the Transforming Neighborhoods Initiative. We wanted to recognize your wonderful work. And so that's really, we engaged the Community Foundation of the National Capital Region. I'm told I have to say that. Instead of the community. Is that what you say? In Prince George's County, to manage this fund for us. And they did a splendid job and selected great nonprofit organizations. And we thank you all for the great work that you're doing. We look forward to working with you in the future. And I am just so grateful to everybody who has made all of this possible, but primarily to my boss, County Executive Rashawn Baker, and Dr. Maxwell, who provided the vision, both vision, leadership, and dogged determination to make this possible. And we just look forward to being able to do this in the years to follow. So with that, I think it's my job to ask Mr. Baker to come up. Okay, then we'll have Dr. Maxwell come up next to give a few remarks. Dr. Maxwell.
So thank you for the opportunity to bring a few remarks. I am thrilled to be in my position as CEO, superintendent, whatever you like, for Prince George's County Public Schools, the place I call home, the place where I grew up, the place where I graduated from high school, the place where I've lived since I was about 7 years old, which is way too, a bunch of people in this room weren't born, back then. But it is a great feeling to be in the place I call home, to do this kind of work for children that are not a lot different than I was when I was a student in this school district. The work that we're doing together, in my estimation, is groundbreaking. The world should take a look at what we're doing here with our partnership between local government, nonprofits, the school system, parents. There are folks that we could go around this room and name all of them, but there are a lot of community partners in here, and we're going to recognize a bunch of them soon. But the relationships that we have are unparalleled. They're unequal. I mean, when I go places, around this state and around this country to national conferences, people ask how we're doing the things that we're doing. When I go places with Dr. Dukes, they're like, "How do you guys do that middle college program? How do you make that work? How did you get there?" We just announced a couple weeks ago library cards for all 129,000 plus students. Virtual cards. All this takes work. I mean, Betty just talked about all the work that it took to get here where we are today. It all takes work. Getting past privacy rules and getting systems to be able to talk to each other over different computer systems and everything. The legal advisors that we all have. It takes a lot to get these things done. But the work I do with the health department, social services, the library system, the county fire chief, the county police chief. I mean, we do a tremendous amount of work together. The Community Foundation, we were just talking, we haven't seen each other in a little while. Howard, of course, everybody knows Howard. Jim Eastep and I were at the change of command ceremony for Joint Base Andrews this morning, which was held on the ceremonial lawn at Joint Base Anacostia Bowling. Those relationships, those things that we do, the Imagine Charter School that we have on the base, and the work that we do there's just so much in so many different ways that we do, and it wouldn't be possible if we hadn't developed a system where we all do this work together. I learned a long time ago that you can't do this work alone in any way, shape, or form. and that you have to have the good sense to find the right people around you to help you get the work done. And when you can, you're even better off when you can find people already doing the work that you can just call on and say, hey, let's make it more robust. Let's do even more. Cheryl Landis has done so much work for us in partnerships for the last few years that we're so much better off because of all those relationships and all those partnerships. So whatever your role, by not calling names, I'm not trying to slight anybody or anything, but it's just there's too many to do. But I appreciate what each and every one of you do each and every day for our children, our families, our schools, and our community, and I hope that you will continue to do it for a long time. I just last week started the 4th year of my first 4-year term, and I look forward to working with you all for a good while longer as well.
Thanks, Betty. Good morning. Is it still morning? Okay, good morning, everyone. It is a great day in Prince George's County, right? That's why I wear my yellow. Right, so we can just let the sun shine in. It's really tough to follow our county executive with remarks because you just got me almost teared up and certainly inspired. So I'm going to do my best. But whoever scheduled me to follow County Executive Baker, you owe me. I am delighted to greet you all this morning and to celebrate this great work that's taken place in our community through the Transforming Neighborhood Initiatives Fund. I am the Executive Director of the Community Foundation in Prince George's County, and we are so excited to have been a partner with all of you great folks, with the school system, the County Executive's Office, and all of the agencies that are working to do good for our kids and families in the county. I do have to make a couple of recognitions. The first being certainly Dr. Maxwell and County Executive Baker for having the trust and the vision and the trust within the Community Foundation to serve as a partner in this very important initiative. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Community Foundation for trusting us to work with you all on this. And then I'd also like to recognize Betty Hager Francis, who has just been just an awesome, you all know Betty has been an incredible champion for our communities and for the work that the county is doing to improve the lives of all of us. And I'm a resident, so I can say us. And so it's not even just about TNI, it's just the work, her commitment to this county, and her love of this county shines daily. And I just want to thank you as a resident for that. And then I also like to thank the members of the Dream Team for your work and commitment to our kids and families as well. And I, as any good executive director of a nonprofit knows to do, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the members of my board. Those in the business know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to ask the chair of our board, Bill Shipp, to stand and be acknowledged. Thank you. Jim Eastep with the Business Roundtable, also a long-term board member. And a little secret for you guys, Jim is receiving this year the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Community Foundation that we're going to celebrate in October. So kudos to Jim. And last but never least, I got to do him last. I do have to do him last. I saw B. Is B still here? B. Tignor was in here earlier. She must have left. B's on our board. And then last but certainly not least, Mr. Howard Stone, Mr. Prince George's County himself. Thank you all so much. I would be lying if I stood up here and told you that I did the work on the Community Foundation's part. And the real work, where the rubber met the road, was done by my colleague at the Community Foundation, a young woman by the name of Mena Amen, who has been, so I want Mena to stand up. Those of you who worked with Mena on this initiative have even come to me and said, God, thank God for Mena. And I agree with that 100%. Mena, I appreciate you so much and for the great work that you've done on this project, as well as many other projects. Thank you. So, now to get started, you guys are ready? Okay, this is like the Oscars or something, right? Okay, and everyone's a winner, though. You know, there's not a competition of sorts. Everybody in here is a winner. So I'm just delighted again that the Community Foundation was given an opportunity to play such a significant role in the establishment of the fund and doing this work. I've recognized our partners, and again, our nonprofit partners, those who are on the ground doing the work, are really the real champions of the TNI fund and the work that we all aspire to do and the goals that we've all set for ourselves. So we're here, and I'm delighted to celebrate all of you and the work that you are doing.
Because in the very beginning of this administration, what we have done is we have asked people to take on tasks, but we haven't given them more money or more bodies. But we've given them more responsibilities. And a lot of times, I'll think of things, but I won't know how to do it. But I'll want to get it done. And what that means is, especially in these times, this has been a very hard week and a half for us as a county, as a state, and as a country. There's a lot we're still gripping with. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of racial tension. And when you look around to what's going on in the world and in this nation and in this county, you start to wonder whether in fact we get it, whether in fact we can actually make the changes we all want to happen. And sometimes you start to doubt that can happen. You know, one of the changes I wanted to see happen in Prince George's County was that we would focus on those areas that had been forgotten, or at least felt they were forgotten. The areas with the most challenges. Because those are the areas where people lose confidence in the system. Whether it's the police, whether it's the fire, whether it's their government. Those are the areas where people don't believe if you ask for help, you're going to receive it. If the government, can do it. And so what I said in TNI is about going in those areas and focusing like a laser beam with resources and talents and everybody getting out of their silos. Not saying it's a school issue, not saying it's the health department or the social services or the libraries, but it's all of ours. And so the idea was, how do we make that so people feel like if I call the government, it will respond, and it will respond in a positive way. Whether that is the police department, whether that's the fire department, whether it's the schools. So this relationship in these areas is so that people out there will know that it can happen that way. We started by what's in our control. What's in the control of the county executive are the government agencies. So that was the first thing to ask these men and women to do more. The second thing, as Betty said, was to go and get a partnership with the school, a real partnership, so that we're all responsible for the education of our kids. And that's why we asked for the change in legislation. Not so I could pick a superintendent. I could care less about that. So I can make sure we have the right person that understands they can't do it alone, and we can't do it alone. The other part is the private sector. Both business, Jim Estep, and the nonprofit. And it's that coming together that will deal with these problems that we see in the nation today. It's not just, I was on a show this morning, we're talking about, police and community policing. Community policing is not just the police, it's this. If the police simply did their job and went in the community and talked to people, it would not be enough. Because you have to provide them with a quality education. You have to fix the potholes. You have to provide them with social services. You have to know they're going to have health care. You have to know they're going to eat. That is why this is important. It's not simply an exercise of something to think about in government. It's not existential. It's not just written. It is making a difference so people feel it. The one thing, and Betty will tell you this, when we talk about TNI, right, Linda Turner? When we talk about TNI, how do we know it's working? Because people feel it. If they can't feel it, it ain't real. Doesn't matter how many programs we have. If they can't feel it, it ain't real. Today, it's real. It's real because the community that has been involved for years gets to see, doesn't matter the amount that we're giving them, it's the fact that we recognize you have been out there struggling. And most of the time you have been struggling by yourself, and that is over. It is the people in the communities that you have been helping to know it's not just you alone, it's us. We're all responsible. That is how you make systemic change. That is how you move from where we are as a country today to a place where everybody feels like the government gives them a straight shot. I say it this way and I'll close. I was talking to, and maybe it shaped a lot of my thinking this week, I was talking to the young adults who occupy my house, and they are my two daughters. And their view on the world is a lot different than their daddy's. They're 21 and 24, and they have, very strong opinions. And I said to them, and it gets to the point of why we're here today. As they were telling me all the things that were wrong, and I was trying to explain to them how we're different, I finally said to them, sweetie, or sweeties, the difference between a protest and a riot is whether in fact you believe that government will address your issues. There's nothing wrong with protests. A riot happens when you don't believe it actually will change, it will work. Today is about having a protest about what we want to say about ourselves as a county and what we want to say about ourselves as a state. And today we say we're changing. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, good. 1, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Hold that pose. Do 2 more. Good, good. Excellent. Congratulations.
I'm gonna put it like I've been here.
There you go. All right, here, 1 more. Good. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. You pull that pose with 2 more. Great, great. Good. Everyone, you guys can shift to your right. 1, 2 steps. Good. Perfect. Good, good, good. Here we go. Hold that right there. Perfect. Good. Perfect. Here we go. 1, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Hold that pose with 2 more. Good. Perfect. Everyone shift 2 steps to the right. Perfect. Excellent. Here we go on 3. 1, 2, and 3. Hold that pose. Good. 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 Perfect.
There you go, yeah.
Perfect. Here we go on 3. 1, 2, and 3. Hold that pose. Do 2 more. Good. Step 1 foot towards you. Perfect.
Let's get our husband to do that.
Good. Hold that pose. Excellent. Great. Go on 1, 2, and 3. Hold that pose. Do 2 more. Good. There we go. Here we go. 2 more. Good. Excellent. Great. Awesome.
They never got anything
So
wrong with
much.
We're going to do it.
I think the dream team should do it. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, the dream team would do it.
Great
Okay.
fundraising activity.
I nominate Mena.
We'll put Bill Ship on the dream team.
No, that's cheap.
Here we go on 3. 1, 2, and 3. Hold that pose. Do 2 more.